Hi, this is Ben Wallace, a partner with STG. We're pleased today to welcome Claire Finkenbinder from Centric Bank. Claire, welcome.
Thank you, Ben.
We're excited to talk about Claire's journey on a variety of things, but most specifically the Splunk implementation. So I'm going to ask Claire to talk a little bit about his role at Centric, a little bit about the bank, and we're going to get into an interactive demo eventually and talk about what Splunk is doing for Centric and what it potentially can do for you. So Claire, tell us a little about you joining Centric and what you do for the bank.
Sure, thank you, Ben. So my name is Claire Finkenbinder. I am the Chief Information Officer and Operations Director for Centric Bank. I've been with Centric now for roughly 4 years. Prior to joining Centric, I've been a career technologist, led the commercial pre-sales division for Dell on the East Coast. I came to Centric Bank because I wanted to come back to a locally run organization and actually try to be a positive influence in our community.
Excellent. I've known Claire for some time, and one sort of innovative thing that Claire is doing is thinking broadly speaking. Centric Bank is obviously a sort of community mission-oriented organization. They today operate on Jack Henry Silverlake is their core provider among a variety of different solutions. And when Claire was collaborating with Vishal and I on this project, we thought about what could be really innovative, not only to solve the specific problem that Claire was faced with, potentially even including Jack Henry and the Silverlake ecosystem in that. So I'm going to ask Claire to talk a little bit about specifically the challenges she was looking at and solving with the Splunk implementation, and then we'll dive a little bit deeper into the demo. Claire?
Sure. So, we were faced with, the ever, changing landscape of the cybersecurity realm, exploited by the supply chain hacks that have, plagued, the industry. So, out of the gate, what we were looking to, really facilitate was, that sheer volume of data coming from all our different data sources and the ability to correlate the events together to draw a true picture of the sanctity and the security, of our environment, our clients' data. But well beyond that, working with Summit, we were quickly able to identify the power of Splunk where we could actually bring this solution in to, address a lot of core challenges that, a lot of financial institutions are faced with, is to actually leverage that data we have in our core to make, faster and more intelligent decisions, to benefit the bank and our customers.
Yeah, the one thing I think Claire's done really interesting, we have a lot of banks that leverage Splunk, but interestingly enough, oftentimes they'll implement for a specific use case or for a specific, infrastructure or network component, but very few people have really mastered sort of the single pane of glass and having everything together, including in this case, business intelligence around Jack Henry Silverlake data, which is why we're very pleased to welcome Vishal, who's the mastermind engineer behind all this and specifically focused on the account. So Vishal, I'll let you introduce yourself a little bit and get right into the demo.
Thanks, Ben. Myself, Vishal Kumar. I work as a lead architect at Summit Technology Group, and I lead the Splunk practice here. Previously worked with JP Morgan Chase, was doing a lot of Splunk work and performance engineering work there. And yeah, glad to work on this Splunk implementation for Centric. Had a very good partnership going on with Claire on that side.
All right, with that, we're going to have Vishal dive into the demo. This is actually a representative sample. This is not real live Centric data, but representative of what Claire and his innovative team have done. Vishal?
Thanks, Ben. I think as Ben and Claire mentioned, basically we're trying to solve 4 different variety of use cases: Infosec, operational analytics, business analytics, and compliance. Starting with information security, so pretty much 2 levels we are trying to solve. One is trying to take all these different data sources, ingesting into Splunk, and then giving them customized applications so that they're at security engineer level, they can deep dive, pick out the needle from the haystack, and just, if there is an event or they are researching on something, they can go into these individual apps to really figure out where the problem is. So starting, this one is a good overview of Cisco Firepower app, different events, firewall, etc., web applications, VPN level data as to how users are logging in and different VPN configurations that have been used. Cisco Meraki switches data, how the requests are going, what are the different blocks that are happening, the URLs and other details on the Meraki MX side. Cisco ICE data, which is basically different authentication and location summaries, etc.
Yeah, as Vishal goes through this data, one thing you'll quickly see is historically this has been on various discrete dashboards for most banking organizations. They're having to log in specific consoles for these different technology suites. So with Claire's vision, we've tried to bring together all of these panes of glass, all of this underlying data into one collective source. So whether it's Claire, whether it's this information security team, or potentially whether in a moment we'll talk about sort of the business side, even an analyst right from the business side can log into this one pane of glass.
That's right, Ben. And that's one level that I was speaking, that okay, all these different disparate sources on Splunk to deep dive. And then the second level is really the CISO level, which is basically 10,000 feet level view, where all of this bubbles up into a security posture, which basically is the Infosec customized Infosec app, which takes all these data, correlates them, and puts it out, so that every morning we just get a good view of what the security posture looks like. This is also drilled down, but at least at a higher level, at different all the different options of malware, intrusion detection, firewalls, network traffic, all of that bubbles up to this application. So that's on the Infosec side. Similar to Infosec, we are trying to solve the operational analytics use cases as well, which is again same thing. We are trying to get all of the operational level data into Splunk, same data lake, be it Office 365, be it VMware infrastructure, or any kind of Windows infrastructure, and everything in between. Specific applications to pick out the needle from the haystack, to deep dive, to triage, and then giving them a 10,000 feet level view as well in the form of a operational dashboard, where again every morning you look at, okay, what sites are available, if there is a service that is down, what is my average utilization on disk, etc. So yeah, same thing, two levels, we are trying to solve this problem as well.
Yeah, and one thing that's interesting, and Claire may have a thought on this, is we take more of our clients to these hybrid cloud situations, and frankly, in some cases, multi-cloud. So you have infrastructure on Amazon, infrastructure on Azure, and frankly, we do here. We have VMware and hypervisor. We have native Azure O365. Before us, tool like Splunk, maybe Claire, how would you have done it? And then obviously, how do you guys do it now?
Sure. Well, one of the challenges was, as Vishal had mentioned, we had to go to individual consoles or individual management panes to get a complete view. So while those individual panes still give us the discrete details, we now, with Splunk and Summit's help and Vishal's help, we have that one pane to check. And then if we need to go much deeper, maybe even like a configuration-wise or so forth, we'll go back to the system of record. But this gives us a one-stop shop.
Yeah. And one question we're always asked, as we help banks be successful, especially from the regulators, is how can banks manage this increasingly complex infrastructure of multi-cloud, multi-hypervisor, right? In some cases you're dealing with containers, in some cases you're dealing with resources running natively on instances, right? But if you always standardize against a common fabric, whether it's Splunk or a similar tool, you're in that much better shape.
Absolutely. And from Infosec to operations leads us to business analytics, where we have really partnered to done something really unique, where we have taken the core data from Jack Henry Silverlake. We have built a secure pipeline and this is using Summit's proprietary framework, where basically we are pulling data from Silverlake, massaging it, processing it, making sure we are dealing with the sensitive data in a right way, and then building data models on that and taking it to Splunk to really drive the business intelligence out of that data. So on those lines, all of this data is demo data, of course, because of the sensitivity involved. But as you can see, the possibilities in terms of the different metrics that we are able to pull out from the Jack Henry Silverlake because of the pipeline and the power of Splunk real time. We have all this assets, loan deposits, ratios, the secured, unsecured executive lines, etc. And just along the same lines, we also have deposit activity dashboard, where once again it's all demo data, but for different branches, how the deposits are happening, we can drill down to individual branch level, and then all of this visualization corresponds to that branch, how the accounts are opened and closed, year to date, month to date figures, and then how the status change of values based on last month in terms of deposits, and also the category wise distribution, high level from personal business as well as the subcategories in the deposit.
Yeah, let's talk about this, because what I think Claire's vision was interesting in the fact that there's many BI tools in the market, whether it's a Tableau or AWS QuickSights, all good tools in their right. The interesting challenge is when you begin to merge both time series data and some of this data together, right, telling the complete story, unless it's collected in a tool like Splunk, it's really difficult. So there, again, you can pick a lot of tools off the shelf and make a pretty geographical dashboard, but if you can begin to merge that and maybe have a situation in Claire's case where he has Jack Henry's Silverlake core data, maybe eventually he wants the Banno mobile data, right? And potentially maybe even merging that with deposit and transactional data about the same customer. Really difficult problems. Discrete data sources, how do you begin to bring that together? So you're not limited by the framework in which you built, which is often, unfortunately, a relational data model, time series data, et cetera. So think about it, as everyone thinks about how to do this right. Splunk is a tool, I think a great tool, but it's really about solving these real world business problems that I was very impressed as you guys brought this together, how well it's worked.
And absolutely right, Ben. And just to add to that is, just because the pipeline that we have built is generic in nature, so all the work that Claire and we did together to pull all of those data sources and build those data models, from there going to Splunk or any BI tool is straightforward. All the work is in that data pipeline that we built. So yeah, so if like you're interested in taking this data to some other visualization tool as well, that's fine too.
Excellent. So hopefully that's helpful to see it in real life. If you want to dive in deep, Vishal obviously will do an individual demo. Claire, any thoughts as kind of reflecting back, maybe challenges doing this, whether it's internal or maybe talk a little about what's been difficult trying to get here, and then maybe sort of a wrap up in terms of kind of next steps for you.
Sure. Versus Vishal dealing with somebody who's impatiently patient or patiently impatient. This number one, I would say this is just the start of a journey, right? As you start looking at data, it does not generate more questions, then something's not working. So this is just the start of what's going to be a long and fruitful relationship between both of us as we continue to build this out. So as Vishal shared, right, we're doing this on the information security side, operational side. We're immense and entrenched in doing this on the core analytics side, and then our next step will be to try and solve some challenges on the ever fun HMDA and CRA side. So I'm looking forward to it, and I'm really anxious to see what the next few months hold for us.
Excellent. Well, thank you. Hope this is very helpful. And again, if you have different use cases, sort of the power of Summit, since our sort of ethos is helping community banks work together, and I'm sure Centric would say the same thing. If you have ideas, ways we can collaborate, right, whether we're working on a specific use case for a Jack Henry client, we have some ability to share best practices and ideas, and I know, Vishal, you'll be happy to do that too. Any closing thoughts, Vishal, on your side?
No, I'm as Claire said, I'm excited too, because it's a partnership, as Claire said. His vision and our technical expertise together, we are doing some great things, and I'm excited as he is.
Excellent. Well, hopefully that was helpful. Thanks everyone for watching. Any questions, let Vishal, Claire, or myself know. We look forward to talking again soon. Thank you.